I'm so absolutely excited. Oh my god, man, Amazon, what the hell? How you gotta do this to me? Floppy? Fairly floppy. Okay. Welcome to the reading vlog. I'm so absolutely excited. We're reading Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. Let's get to reading. So I've started Things That We Left Behind today. I am on page 52, chapter 4. Okay, so I kind of not gave myself spoilers, but I watched somebody's reading vlog about this. They didn't really like it that much, and they were explaining like a lot of things. They were spoiler free, but they were explaining a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have picked up on. They were bringing up points that I think are very valid and possibly could affect my rating on this book, but I'm also going in super unbiased still. Even though I do want this to be like really good, I had high expectations about this. Like when I first read Things We Never Got Over, there are a ton of like little breadcrumbs about Lucien and Salone throughout that book, and like the tension and like their background, like what happened to these characters, like what made them like dislike each other so much now. This is why this book has been so anticipated for me. Like I felt like the tension in this book was just gonna be like so good. Also, I did a reading vlog. I did a reading vlog of Things We Hide from the Light, so it's kind of fun to do another reading vlog of Things We Left Behind. I don't know, I'm still excited to read this. I'm excited to like really get into what Lucien does for work. I know that's like a subplot and we should be like focusing on Lucien and Salone, but like I'm curious, and I also want to know like what happened between these two characters. I'm gonna update you along the way. It's gonna be kind of similar to my Things We Hide from the Light reading vlog, so there will be some spoilers. That's all I gotta say, so boy. It's literally 1:30 in the morning. I can't sleep. Like, I just cannot sleep. I'm like wide awake. I'm reading, and let me just tell you about a scene. So Lena is doing wedding dress shopping and invites the girlies and whatever. And like I said, despite my feelings for the last book, I really don't care about Nash or Lena. So to some extent, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Naomi is my girl. She is a girl's girl through and through. Lena was like not wanting to go wedding dress shopping, and Naomi knew she wasn't gonna like it, so she literally calls the bridal shop to pre-order this dress for her and then act like Lena found it herself. Like, she is such a girl's girl, and also she's just so funny. Salone says maybe he has a crush on Naomi like all men with a penis and half a marine do. And Naomi says, it's true, 6 men fell into manholes so far today. This is just reaffirming that I love Naomi with my whole heart. I love her so much. Sleepy baby. Ignore that. Ignore that. It's 9:45. I didn't go to bed until 3 last night. So I am on page 237 now of Things We Left Behind. I am enjoying this. The only part that like, it's not that I don't like it, it's just like, it's kind of like okay, is that I keep forgetting that these people are like 40 something years old. And like, oh my god, there's this long ass hair in my book. Ugh, it's like in my, it's in my tabs. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. I'm getting my hair cut today. That's gonna be fun. I forget that they're like 40 years old in these books. And I'm like, oh my god, like, grow up. I can see why people do not like this series, because they cannot fathom that literal adults, like midlife adults, can like act so childish, which, let's be real, there's people out there that do act like this, and they're in whatever stage of life, you know? There have been some scenes that I'm like, oh my god. Like, one of my favorite scenes, I have to tell you, they both go to Naomi and Knox's house for dinner, and they're like very uncivil, and Knox is like, if you guys are making it uncivil, blah blah blah, you're gonna pay. If you say something bad, you're gonna get shocked, like with these like electrocute like thingies, I don't know, like they like simulate period cramps or whatever. They're like, okay fine, whatever. And so they're like talking basically to each other the whole night, and Sloane says, bite me, she mouths, you're not my type, I mouth back. I don't know why I was like, that's funny, and I'm giggling. I don't know, I think it's the fact that I can like picture that, imagine that like happening in like real life. I also love how there are flashback scenes in this. Oh my god, I love that there's flashbacks. There's not a whole lot, I've only read 2, but I love the flashback scenes. You just like can like see them growing up together, and like how it was before something happened. We haven't gotten there yet, and I'll update you along the way. We're gonna keep reading. Is me like at night reading, but like that's the time I've been reading a lot, is like till 3 a.m. I am on chapter 27, page 346, and kind of giving you a couple of updates of what I think. I'm still enjoying the book for what it is. The thing that I'm like not like super loving is the storyline in this book. Kind of feels a little all over the place. There's 2 separate storylines, one for Lucy and one for Sloane, and then it's them together. I'm not flipping you off. Them together, and then we have to figure out what the frick happened to them in the past. We still don't really know what happened for them to like lose trust in each other. I understand more Lucian's storyline than Sloane's. Like Sloane's, like what's happening with her storyline makes no sense for me. Like, why is she doing this? I kind of get it, but like I also don't. It seems very random. I would rather have like Lucian's storyline take up almost the whole book and kind of involve Sloane in some way, rather than having Sloane have a separate storyline. It's like a mess a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I wish she kind of worked more on like her grief and how this has been affecting her and like stuff like that, how she's working with it. She does have grief, but it's not like heavily shown, and this is like a big deal. Like her dad died, so like not a lot of, I mean there's grief, but not as much as I thought there would have been. I don't know, her storyline just seems so random. I think that's the only part that I'm like, what are we doing? I am enjoying them together. They like literally have already like gotten together. I kind of wish there was more like emotional like tension. Like there is, but there's not. I think they really just try to like forgive and forget a little bit. They both are like, oh, we won't worry about it, let's just go on to the next thing. So far it's been what I thought it would be like, but also there's some parts in this book that I'm like, okay, this book is too long, and it should not have been this long. It doesn't have enough substance, I think, from these characters to be this long. It's not like exactly what I pictured and exactly what I wanted, but I'm still liking it. I still enjoy it. And that's just that. I'm gonna keep reading. We'll keep updating. See you later. I completely forgot how long Nash and Lena have not known each other. Do you think if you like date somebody, bro, they weren't even dating. That's the thing. They just like all of a sudden got engaged. This is why I hate things we hide from the light, and I hate how it's kind of going into this book too, because I just don't care about Nash and Lena. Literally, Nash in this is saying like, and this is not even supposed to be about Nash and Lena, okay? Like, I'm not here for them, but they just keep popping up. He's like telling Salone it's Valentine's Day, and he's like, oh, I just wanted to run by Lena's Valentine's Day gift. And I'm like, okay, sure, girl. And it's our first Valentine's Day together. So y'all literally have never had a Valentine's Day together, but you're gonna get married? Oh, that doesn't like, you know what I mean, right? Like, they have not even been together for like a full year. They haven't known each other for a full year, or at least I think, I don't know. They've never had a Valentine's Day together, and they're gonna get married. They don't know each other. I still get heated about this. Like, they don't know each other. That's my piece on that. I'm officially not annoyed, but I checked the book. I'm on chapter 31 now, and I checked I didn't like do any spoilers, but I checked just to see if there are any more flashback scenes, and there's not any more flashback scenes. So I don't know what, if anything, we're going to know about their past unless they talk about it. Although it just got really good. There's like a thing going on. Basically, Salone is getting threatened. They literally just found like a pile of rats at her doorstep. Like, no thank you. And she's like, it's fine, I liked that mat. Dang. I'm like, me too. Just unbothered. Almost on page 400, and we still technically don't really know what the animosity is between them. Like, what? How do we still not know? Also, this book is very spice heavy. Like, they are in like almost, there was like a moment where like 3 or 4 chapters like in a row where they are just like, that is it. Like, they talk to each other for a little bit and then they like nothing, it happens. The next day, and I can actually talk to you and you can actually see me. I am on page 403. Technically, I'm like kind of in the middle of a scene right now. I kind of feel like the same way I felt in the first book a little bit, where Knox is kind of running away from his feelings with Naomi, and I'm kind of feeling the same way. Lucien is basically pushing Salone aside for purposes that he thinks are to protect her and blah blah blah, which I hate that trope. Like, I kind of get it, because it's like, well, yeah, he's like kind of in this crime thing, like people are sending Salone like threatening things, like I kind of get it, but like, shut up and like deal with it. You've already dragged her in. It doesn't mean, I don't get why these men, I know they're fictional, but I don't know why they just think that, oh, I'm gonna push her away because I got her caught up in this crime scene thing and whatever. I already dragged her in, let me protect her from it. Like, bitch, you already put her in, might as well like just stick around and find out what happens, you know? I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, basically Lucien kicked Salone out of his house, and she's like not talking to him, which honestly I wouldn't want to talk to him either. So I just like keep reminding myself that these people are 40 years old, or close to 40, like late 30s, early 40s. Like, I can't get my head around that sometimes. Like, the way they speak to each other, I'm like, this is a like 20-year-old. Like, I can't imagine any 40-year-old person talking like this. And that's not to be like ageist or anything. Like, I just like, my parents are their age, and I could never imagine my parents ever talking like that. So I'm like, what? I do love the first book so much, and yes, it is kind of similar the way it's written and stuff, but like, this writing just reminds me a lot of like, I don't know, it just feels very childish. Like, these characters don't feel like adults, they feel like they're teenagers. It feels like this should be a YA story, and these characters should be like 17, 18 years old and not 40 years old, because the stuff that they say, baffling for a person that age to talk like that. Well past your time to like be an adult. become one. This book is also reaffirming my love for Naomi. She is absolutely the best character in this series. I do love Salome. Lena, we already know my feelings about her. Actually, a lot of the other characters are very prevalent in this book, whereas I felt like in the other two books it didn't really feel like the side characters were a huge deal, and maybe because now in the third book they're more established, like we know them a lot more, so their storylines are more intermingled. I do see why people think this is kind of not a Lucien and Salome story, but like an everybody else story, because it kind of does feel like that. The more I keep reading, the more I'm like, you know what, maybe they were onto something. I feel like we really see a lot of Lena and Nash in this book, which, like I said, we all know how I feel about that. But they're like really in this book because Lena now works for Lucien, and even Nash. Like we see Nash a lot, and Nash is kind of like trying to keep an eye out for Salome, which is kind of a little strange, but like, whatever, I'm trying to get over that. Oh my god, Salome. Like, she's low-key a badass. Like, she really is. Like, she sticks up for what she thinks is right. And I think that is so admirable of her. Like, she sticks up for herself and she sticks up for others. And I love that about her so much. So, and Lucien is just kind of there, you know? These two books that have came out have felt almost a little bit forced. Like, these relationships feel forced, whereas in the first book, it felt very natural. Things we had from the light and things we left behind just feel like they just feel forced. They feel more insta-lovey. It's just not what I expected. Especially in this book, it's not what I expected. Give me more. It's like the whole thing. Like, I like how this is going, but give me more of it. It's like when someone like gives you kind of like a half-assed answer, like, what happened to Lucien and Salome? Oh, this is what happened to them, and it kind of feels like a half-assed answer. You're like, okay, cool, but give me more. I've got like 100 and something pages left, so we will be finishing this either today or tomorrow. Salome. This is why I love Salome. She like sticks up for herself. Like, she does not deal with Lucien's bullshit. Like, she's just so over it with him. I'm like, yes. Tell him. Salome. Thank you. I love when she sticks up for herself. I'm so mad. I'm with Salome. Like, me and Salome are on the same level. Like, I'm so frustrated with Lucien. Just so, oh my god. Salome finds out about all these things that Lucien has done for her, when he literally always says he doesn't care about her, he doesn't like her, whatever, but he does all these things to like benefit her life in some way. She literally called him out on it. He goes, you love me. I know you love me. You say you hate me, but I know you love me. And he's like, I don't love you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, shut the f up. You love her. Like, shut up. So annoying. Okay, almost done. I have one more chapter, an epilogue, and technically the bonus epilogue, so I have like that much left. Like, Lucien finally freaking tells her that he loves her, blah blah blah, whatever, and then this crazy shit happens at the end of the book that always happens in all the other ones, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And now we're like to the happy ending part. I guess I like it, but it's not like my favorite ever, I guess. Also, wait, before we continue, I just remembered another thing. So in my last video, you need to watch my last video before you watch this one, just genuinely, I talk about how the bad guy in the scenes are like very cartoon-esque characters. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, like the old 1950s cartoon characters where they have like a handlebar mustache, like twirling it, and they're like, you made it into my lair, like that kind of thing. That's what I mean, you know? Like, they're just very cheesy. They're very like stereotypical. And in both of the books, in Things We Had From the Light and in this one, the villains are just such cartoon like, there's nothing menacing about them. You could just like knock these people away. Even though these scenes are supposed to be intense, they're not. They feel very random. So you're like, okay, girl, what? You're like, huh? What's going on? And I just wanted to say that because there's a part in this where like we find out who the bad guy is. Basically holding Salome hostage to some extent. She escapes and he goes, come out wherever you are. Shut up. No. That's so cringy. I hate that. Gonna read the last chapter, gonna read the epilogue, gonna read the bonus epilogue. So see ya at the end. know why a Christmas wedding to me seems so cheesy. Literally, who has a wedding on Christmas Eve? I'm sorry, but if you have a wedding on Christmas Eve, I am not attending. I finished Things We Left Behind. I do like this book, but I wouldn't say it's like that good. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed. Like, I thought we would get more flashback scenes. Like, I was really hoping for more flashback scenes, and we got maybe 5. There should have been more like tension with these characters. They just argue like they're 5 years old, and like there's like no real reason why they do. We don't find out anything until maybe like halfway, maybe a little over halfway through. We kind of start finding out, oh, this is what happened, like whatever. But like, it, to me, I don't know. Something about this book just didn't like completely give it all, you know? Like, it definitely could have gave so much more. I felt like Lucy and Salome should have had a more emotional connection to each other, or a deeper connection to each other, which I don't think happened. Like, I do think it did, but not until the very end of it. And that's when I was like, oh, they're like talking it out. They're actually like blah, blah, blah. I wish they talked more and a little less, you know? Obviously, I get this is supposed to be like a spicy romance. Like, I get it. Like, they're gonna eventually. I felt like they had so many unresolved problems with each other that having so many times where they f around and stuff was just odd. It was odd for them to just do that and then not talk about anything. Like, they were so resentful of each other, and then they're like, but I'm gonna put that aside to f you for like 30 times in like multiple chapters. Like, I didn't really understand that part. It didn't really make sense. It didn't seem realistic to me, at least. Not that a book has to be realistic, but it just didn't really make a lot of sense. Like, these two have so much animosity towards each other, and then all of a sudden they're like, but I could f you. Like, I don't know. I just like, I feel like if I had that much animosity towards somebody, I would not be feeling the same way. I don't know. Sue me. Like, why Salome has this backstory is for her to be in some kind of trouble and Lucian come and save her. Like, that's the only reason for Salome's like little plot point. Only reason. Good things I love about this book is not even about Lucian or Salome. Actually, no, I take that back. I love Salome. Like, I do really like her. She tells him how it is, and she doesn't really back down from that. I do think towards the end, when they are getting together and getting married, whatever, getting engaged or whatever, I don't love that. Hated that point. But like, ugh, I hated how they got together and how they proposed. I didn't like that part. I just thought it was cringy. I thought it was bad. There is like good stuff I do like about this book, but it's just like, I feel like I hold such a high opinion of the first book, and then having that first book allude to this book and making this book be so anticipating and so like, I can't wait for it, and then to kind of have it flop is kind of disappointing. It's not kind of, it is disappointing, but that doesn't mean it was a bad book. It just wasn't what I was expecting. In my opinion, I thought it was just all right. With that being said, I am giving this book 3.5 stars. That's what I think. I'll set this down. Thank you so much for watching this vlog, and I'll see you in my next one.